All right, so here we are with the 100 series Land Cruiser, and looking around, starting to notice my radiator. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of starting to change colors. The glass filled nylon or whatever it is, they're famous for getting brittle once they start to change color. So not a lot that can really go wrong on these trucks, but the cooling system is not something that you want to take a chance on. So we're going to go ahead, swap it out, and yeah, pretty much future-proof this thing. Let's get to it. So first things first, I want to go and drain the coolant from the old radiator so I can start pulling the hoses off. And I notice it's got this big old honking skid plate. So I think I have to start removing those bolts. That looks like maybe 14 millimeter. Let's see, probably one there, one there, one there. Let's go get some sockets. Oh, wrong drawer. Sockets. All right, there we go. Sockets. Metric. Already got that for the cover. Okay, 12 millimeters. I was way off. Way off. So go ahead and remove all these skid plate bolts. I'll leave a couple. It looks like that's the one to leave in part of the way. I need both hands, but I can see there's a slot right there. So I can just loosen that one, get the others out, and then it'll slide off that. Glad I noticed that. 1, 2, we got a couple down there. All right, let me get to this. So I'm under here poking around, taking these bolts out, getting ready to drop this skid plate, which looks like it does need to happen either way to get to the hose. But I find this this access cover, there's a plastic cap. Pop that off, and right inside, sure enough, there's my drain cock for the radiator. So that's kind of cool. Poking around, I also figured out where the oil filter was, so that was a good find. It's amazing the things you can come up with when you look under a vehicle. So I'm gonna start draining the coolant, get that started, and then once that's at least mostly out of the way, I'll go ahead and start taking things apart. Of course, they just have the hole just big enough to like fit your hand in there. There we go. Let me see if I can pop the radiator cap, expedite this process. There we go. Now she's a-flowing. All right, so the coolant's out, and I was able to drop the lower skid plate, front skid plate, whatever. There was it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts, I think. Now I can get to the bottom of the radiator and the lower hose right there and start working this thing out. So without getting too crazy here and removing everything, I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna loosen up the mounts for these lines here, for the AC line and this harness. I'm gonna slide that back. I might need to remove the coolant reservoir tank. Obviously I need to disconnect the upper radiator hose, and then the mounting points for the radiator that go to the frame. Once I can get this stuff moved back, I'm thinking the radiator should lift straight out. Also, while I'm here, I'm looking at my my fan clutch. It does turn. Doesn't spin too freely, and it's a little looser than maybe what I would expect, but I still don't even think I get like a full rotation if I turn it by hand, so I think it's all right for now. I really don't want to change this at the moment as I don't have one on hand, and I mean, it's not too crazy to change later if I have to. I know I still have to pull a bunch of this stuff out, but hopefully that doesn't bite me down the road. So on the fan shroud, after I got these lines moved back, there's a couple bolts on top. There's nothing on the driver's side, and it looks like there's one way down there. I don't know if you can see. I've got my 12mm socket on there, and I'm trying to work that one out. And I think that's it. I'll let you know in a minute. And that looks like it for the fan shroud, just 3 bolts. And then in the bottom, there's pins that hold it in place. So 1 midway down on the passenger side, 2 on top. Get this hose out of the way, and then I'll be able to move this back a little bit more. Extract the radiator like that. So it looks like there's 4 mounting locations. 1 straight down. I don't know if you can see that. Focus. There it is. It's that big washer looking bolt at the bottom, 12mm. And then this other one right here, which you can see looking through the grill, that one. So long extension, should be able to get you straight down onto that one pretty easily. I know it's hard to see, I'm sorry. There we go, that's some better lighting. Same thing for the other side. And then this extension will actually get me through the grill and onto that other bolt as well, which you can, let's see, kind of see right there. Once you get the nut off the upper mount behind the grill, this mount, this bolt, whatever you want to call it, will just kind of work it out like that. Here's a better view of the passenger side one. Just pop it out like that, and it's got a little retainer on it. So yeah, that's how that looks. For the lowers, I'm just unscrewing them all the way, and I'm just going to leave them in place and remove them with the radiator once I pull it out. And before I forget, there's a couple of transmission cooler lines that go to the bottom of the radiator. So they have still the factory spring clamps on there. I'm gonna go ahead and pull those off. Hopefully I won't lose too much fluid from there. I haven't really seen well, I've seen it addressed, but I just don't know if I'm gonna need to add fluid or not. So let's get those off. All right, I got the hose clamps off as an attempt to try to stop the bleeding a little bit. I just got some old spare hardware. I think I'm gonna try to plug it up. We'll see how this goes. I don't know how much is in here. All right. Definitely dripping, but seems like at least it's just coming out of the radiator, not the hose, because I got that bolt in there. That worked out pretty good. Let me see if I can get something to catch that. Okay, I don't see anything else stopping me from getting this thing out. I pulled the coolant tank out after all, just to give me some more room to move the fan shroud back. All the hardware is removed, and as you can see, I've got decent sized gap between the fan shroud and the radiator. So I'm gonna just try to lift this thing out. So I'm having a hard time. Once I'm lifting it out, those lower mounts, which kind of stick out like little wings, are hitting either on these lines or in the battery. I think if I pull the battery out, I'll have enough room to maneuver sideways to get the old one out and the new one back in. All right, so I ended up taking off the side mount, which has to come off anyway. So I removed that. I can lift this thing up, slide it out, and shouldn't have any more obstacles from here. All right, so here we go. Got new hoses, new heater tees, new radiator, OEM, Toyota. In my case, I was pretty lucky. I got a super smoking deal on this. Otherwise, yeah, there's other options out there, but these things just, they last for so long without any issues. You know what you're gonna get. So not to say that that wouldn't be the case with another one, but in my case, like I said, I got a smoking deal on an OEM radiator, so let's put it in. Okay, radiator is back in. Wasn't horrible, pretty much the reverse of removal. Took the wing off, you know, like I said, the driver's side, left it on the passenger side, angled it in. Once it was sitting in there, I put the wing back on driver's side, set it in there, made sure the fan shroud and the AC line was pushed back. This bracket did catch some of the fins, so, and that one too, I actually took it out again and straightened all the fins out. And then putting it back in, I, you know, again, hit the fins and did the best I could. Am I happy about it? No. Is it gonna matter? Probably not. Did the best I could. So the rad's in, it looks rad. New hoses, and got the lines underneath as well for the transmission cooler. I don't know if I need to add fluid for that or not. I need to dig a little deeper in that. Next, I'm gonna pull the this cover off here and start working on those T's in the back. All right, here we go. The cover's removed. Now you can see what this thing really looks like. Those are the T's that I'm trying to get to. I can't tell if they've been replaced or not. Maybe they have, but nonetheless, I'm gonna swap them out because I'm here and the coolant's drained. I don't really feel like doing my normal technique on those spring hose clamps. So I went over to the Matco truck nearby. Big ups to my man, J. Brian Wampler, Mr. Matco himself. Thank you for that. Hopefully this will make it a lot easier. Let's get to it. All right, so I'm back there pulling the T's out. I got one out. Here's the new one that's going in. I was wondering, is it really worth it to go ahead and do this? I mean, I don't know, they look like they're okay, right? Well, this is what happened. I went to take one out and it just crumbled. So yes, definitely worth it to do this. These are the same plastic, resin, glass-filled nylon. Lasted this long, so it should last another 10, 15, 20 years maybe. Could I put brass or something else? Sure, but this is what I have and it's good. So yeah, we'll put this back in for now. All right, so the heater core T's, actually pretty easy to get to overall. Just stood on a little bench and leaned in over it, spun the clamps around so I can get to them easier next time if I need to. And yeah, slid the clamps off, swap out the keys. T's, easy money. The overflow tank is back in. All I got to do now is top off the coolant, and then I'm still going to look into the trans fluid thing. It's probably okay. I didn't lose very much, so I'm just going through now and topping off the coolant. I actually reused the old coolant that I drained out. Sounds crazy, but it was actually pretty fresh. The timing belt water pump was just done not long ago, just thousands of miles ago, not even anything crazy. So drained out the old stuff and I triple filtered it. So what do I mean by that? I ran it through a paint filter about 3 times just to make sure that there was no sediment or contaminants or anything weird in there. So put it back into a bottle. I know it looks like Kool-Aid. It's the diluted red stuff, so 50-50, and just topping it off now. So had the heater running for a minute and just gonna let the level stabilize. I already burped it through the hose a couple times, and we'll get this thing topped off and put back together. Thanks for watching. Don't drink this.